let's talk about gear. In this video, I'm going to walk you through all the camera gear I used to document my 17-day trip to Europe. I'll show you the cameras I used, the lenses I used, and what I would do differently. Hope you enjoy! Even though this is my backyard, I always have to make sure that there are no forest animals watching me, judging me, while I spiral, mope to a camera. So let's go for a little walk, and we'll chit-chat. So in terms of camera gear, I brought the Sony ZV-E1 and 11mm f1.8 lens, which I'm filming with right now, as well as the Sony A7C II and the 20-70 f4G lens. That was primarily for photography, and I used ZV-E1 primarily for vlogging, and because I have very real fears of my main photo camera failing. And the ZV-E1 being a full frame camera, it's only got 12 megapixels, but if I took photos with it, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I just probably would only post those photos on social media and probably not print it. Besides the 11mm and the 20-70, I brought with me the 50mm and the 85mm prime lenses. I use the 85mm primarily in Copenhagen, but I slowly used it less and less, which was surprising because we all know how much I love an 85mm focal length.
1 hour later.
I had to come inside because it started to rain. Where was I? I brought the 50mm lens to the Neue National Gallery in Berlin, and that is an example of me trying to do the one camera, one lens kind of thing, and it didn't work. One, it's because I had never been there before, and I didn't know how much room I would have to zoom with my feet. So in those instances, pretty much any instance where you visit someplace new, you should bring a zoom lens. For the 85mm, I primarily used that in Copenhagen, and I really misjudged how narrow the streets could be. I was still able to capture some good shots with the 85mm, but that's a good lens if you are interested in details or you're super shy and you don't want to walk up closer to people. But when it comes to street, going wider than 50 is almost a necessity because you're just in such tight quarters. You want to get a sense of your atmosphere. Another thing is that when you shoot with 35mm or wider, you're able to crop in later on if you want to. I think if I were to pack everything again and choose different lenses, I would still bring the same camera bodies, but I would probably bring the 20-70 zoom lens and this little guy, the 20mm f2.8, which is actually an E-mount lens. The form factor of this is so tiny. It's seriously so small. It's got like point and shoot camera vibes, and it's really lightweight. The thing is that when you put an E-mount lens on a full frame camera, you're not using the whole sensor. So this camera body is 33 megapixels, but as soon as you put this on, it becomes 14 megapixels. Another way around this is I probably would consider getting the A7CR. I know it sounds like really ridiculous, but hear me out. It's 60 megapixels. If you put an APS-C lens on it, then that cuts it down to maybe 33 megapixels. So you get a 30 megapixel resolution picture and you're able to use E-mount lenses like these. One thing I would say is do not change lenses outdoors on a windy day. You're going to get dust on your sensor. You could definitely edit them out from photos, but when it comes to video, especially on a clear sky day, As for camera bags, I brought my Peak Design 20-liter zip backpack and a 10-liter camera sling from Bellroy. That combination was really good. What I did was I would pack my camera bag that I would normally take on a day trip in the 10 liters, and then I would put that camera bag in the 20-liter camera bag, and whatever room I had left over around it, I would use it to pack my laptop charger, SSDs, extra SD cards. So I put 250 gigabyte SD cards in both cameras and they didn't fill up. I still brought extra SD cards and I had them in my camera sling. Does not add any weight. Oh, I'm losing light. Okay, maybe I'll film tomorrow. I'm at the point where I actually want to abandon this video idea and not upload it, but whatever. I don't really want to go through with finishing this video, but I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it! I'm just gonna do it! Now I do want to talk about photo walks because they were a big part of my trip. I met up with a friend in almost every city that I visited, and this accomplishes a couple things. A lot of the friends that I visited, they were photographers whose work I really admired. I had some friends who had gear that I would never be able to buy, or I just was curious about and just had hesitations about owning it myself. I find like photo walks have so many benefits besides connecting with your friends, but also just trying out gear. The other thing that I did on my photo walks was also interview my friends. Oftentimes they are putting out really great work, but I'm really curious about their thought processes and what gets them excited. What is it that they observe and look for? There's golden nuggets and lessons in taking photos that I want to collect and remember. I do want to make a note about setting up photo walks. They are weather dependent. If it is pouring rain, have an alternative activity. And if there was a day where I was going on a photo walk with a friend and it was pouring rain, I would try to do some research on like really cool, architecturally interesting indoor spaces. So those are the details of my photography trip. I don't have any plans for the rest of the year. I'm not as lucky as my European friends who get 30 days of paid time off per year. I don't have any plans set for 2025, but we'll see. I'm looking at a few options and I'll absolutely take you with me. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!